kidding. Yeah. There it is, the great man. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I fixed it.
They send you some new equipment?
I bought it.
Oh, you bought it?
Well, actually, they
Surely you're charging it too.
Yeah.
They bought it. I go pick it up. I get to pick it up. How about you just check this?
Yeah,
Check,
absolutely.
while you are there, just check it and see how it works. And if any good, there shouldn't be any problems. But have a look.
Yeah. Very soon. Comes the Reds. I mean, I'd like a bit longer off, to be honest.
Whistle's gone. Sounds like the teams are going to be heading into the change room.
Checkity, check.
I think is mine all right in terms of sound? You reckon? It sounds a bit. Yep. Yeah, that sounds better, I reckon. Yep. Definitely hear the two of us. I was literally listening to that yesterday, like it came on my my Spotify.
It's everywhere.
It must be getting pushed by Spotify now. Has it gone big on TikTok or something?
No, I don't know. I've
Because
been...
that song's from 2003.
I know, but I've had it in my head. Someone else was like singing it the other day. Yeah. I can't remember who was singing it yesterday. I was singing along with them.
It's a great song.
I don't know why this is a song in my head, but it is a banger. So, what was I doing yesterday? What day was it? Friday.
Get the banner in there. Whoa!
Don't knock sets. All right, talking. It's what we're good at. It's the only thing we're good at, some would say. One of our few marketable skills.
Some would say we do it too much, but Sean, we have to practice.
Exactly, yeah.
It's unfortunate when you talk for a living and then...
People get sick of your voice.
Yeah. And then your regular life just becomes training for your job.
Yeah.
It's infuriating for the people in your company.
It is. But who cares about them?
They decided to insert themselves into your space.
Yeah, into my life. I'm just going to go like this. Blah, 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 blah. And if you happen to walk into the space I'm occupying, Josh, you're going to hear it.
Well, I could put a Valentine's filter over it.
You can do. This is why I don't have social media, Josh, so I don't have to see any of the filters you put on our romantic photos. Go for your life. Jeez, you're going to be a bit late out, I would have thought. 6:30 kickoff.
Fantastic.
All right, awesome.
Thank you.
And welcome once again, one and all, to Frank Drago Reserve. Help me out, Josh. Round 4 of the NPL Night Series.
Round 4 of the NPL Night Series. It is 3 games through for each of these teams.
It is Fremantle City once again taking on Balcatta this time. A couple of clubs with Italian roots, a couple of the hundreds in Perth, and they will meet, I believe, in round 1 of the regular season. So a little curtain raiser for that. It looks like it is curtains for both sides in terms of progressing any further in the night series. I'll let Josh tell you all the exact numbers, but I think they only have a point apiece, and this is really one of those pre-season games just to get some miles in the legs, get a few little formational tweaks, see how you can shape things, and as the captains Riley Woodcock and Declan Hargraves do the toss, I will introduce a man who I already half introduced. Some call him a great man, I call him the greatest man. Josh Chiat, alongside myself, Sean Fry, both of us from the Perth Football Podcast. Great to be here tonight, isn't it, Josh?
It is an absolute pleasure to be here tonight, sitting beside yourself, Sean Fry. Sean Stradamus, who will give us his prediction for this one at some point.
I think I said 2-1 last week, and it was 2-2, wasn't it? So the crystal ball's a little bit foggy at the moment. But I'm just going to, if at first you don't succeed, try again. 2-1 Fremantle.
2-1 Fremantle. We're tipping 2-1 Fremantle. It's a 2-2 draw for both sides last week. Their first points in this competition. Could be a little bit academic given Bayswater and Armadale. Armadale on 6 points. They're playing each other in the late game today, and
so that could take a miracle for either side.
Yeah, that could take this one getting to the semi-finals really out of the hands of both of these clubs. But still, a really important game for both of them, an Italian derby. So there's always going to be a lot of feeling in something like this.
All right, we will see how both sides go. We are underway as Carl Moody knocks the first kickoff back, and Fremantle look to go on the attack. A lot of aerial ball in the opening seconds. Not changing with this hoof downfield, and Bunbury boys steal on the way back, and thankfully you don't want to run into a wall of steel if you're a goalkeeper. He managed to get the communication right there and avoid any collisions, and out for a Balcatta throw. Should be taken by Theodoru. We spoke a bit last week, obviously, Josh. We watched the Fremantle Glory game and had a few thoughts on those sides for the season going ahead. You got any views on Balcatta?
Well, I haven't seen too much of them in the pre-season so far. They've sort of been perennial underdogs over the last few years in the NPL competition, but they were pretty impressive playing a counter-attacking style in the first half. They're very well drilled by Glenn Grosdate, and we say perennial underdogs, but they're often a team that seems to be underestimated as well.
Here's Liam Hudson getting a ball into the box. Bit of contact in the penalty area. Striker going to ground and turned just around the post. Goalkeeper didn't seem too flustered by it, so I think he thought he had it under control. Hinshelwood it was hitting the turf. No sort of suggestion from him that he was expecting a call from the referee.
Hinshelwood 2 goals in the first. Hinshelwood 2 goals in the first half against Bayswater last week. That gave them the 2-0 lead. He just looks like he's growing and growing. He's one of a triumvirate of players who came across mid-season with Glenn Grosdate a couple of years ago when he was poached from Quinns to successfully keep Balcatta in the NPL competition, a year that they were really struggling back in 2022. You aren't seeing double. We do have the twins Liam Hudson and Declan Hudson, who were part of that crew who came over from Quinns playing on the right and the left wing. You actually didn't see that at all last season because Declan Hudson missed pretty much the whole year with a broken leg in pre-season. So great to see both of them back out on the pitch.
Yeah, it's hard to play football on a broken leg, so good to have you back, Deck. And joining another Declan in Declan Hargraves. He'll be an important player for this side. That sort of Fremantle have got the real steel, but he brings you a bit of steel in midfield, doesn't he? And Jesse Fuller as well, we know, has played those sort of controlling midfield positions. He's now at centre half and looking to block this shot. How's that for timing? But it squeezes past him and into the back of the net. I'm told last week, Josh, I wasn't positive enough about the football, so I'm going to let you take it from here.
Charlie Cheshire has an early strike for Fremantle City. A little bit of help from the goalkeeper, Connor Campbell there. Maybe he was unsighted on the shot. It just seemed to open up from there. The ball came out to the left-hand side. It came into Cheshire's making that late run into the box, ghosting in there, and I think that's his second goal of the night series so far.
Yeah, fantastic goal. As Josh just said, he's missed a glass half full. I'd call it a scuff and a pat into the side netting, but whatever it was, Heckwash gets the opener. It is 1-0 Fremantle City, and I'm a third of the way onto that correct prediction that I told you earlier, Josh. I feel like they might have scored a little bit too early.
We're all rooting for you, Sean.
Haven't really seen any screamers yet, have we? We had 4 goals last week.
Oh, you weren't here for the Armidale game, my friend.
Absolute
bangers in that one.
Kalichi got the call on that one, didn't he?
Kalichi got the Rattlers.
That was an absolute cracker. Who was that? The goal scorer?
We had a lovely chip from Charlie Cheshire for Fremantle, and then down the other end, Joshua Spencer, the substitute for Armidale, announcing himself to his new team with hammer blow into the postage
XG strike of 0.02. But he got 1 goal for it. So post-shot expected goals, probably pretty high. People turning off already. I've gone into the stat chat. Fuller up winning the header there and then doing it again at the ground level, chipping one around with the left foot. Not a bad little ball into a dangerous area. He's a player I've loved watching, Fuller, as I mentioned earlier. We've seen him in midfield at Floriat and playing at centre-back. He's played full-back. He's really do the job that's asked of me, and here he is up the left wing, and as soon as I give him a bit of praise, he just hoofs one into touch.
One season at Fremantle City last year as well, Jesse Fuller, so it's been around the grounds in WA football. He's always a solid competitor.
As pretty much every single player on every team sheet we get has. So he's been around.
Where did he come from?
Coburn connection here tonight. Anthony Skorich on the bench. Looking forward to him, and then Cam Edwards, and who else did I say? We talked about Ali Galami last week. He'll be a really important player for Fremantle this season. The exodus of Cockerels as they head down the divisions. I'm still not over it, Josh. Fremantle just struggling to get out here.
Not put in a bad showing of themselves so far in the State League Night Series, from what I can tell, the Cockerels. So maybe your beloved side will be making their way back up the division sometime soon.
So it's no Heidi, no Coburn for me, mate. So I've lost interest. Don't care anymore. Fremantle load up for another goal kick. As we see around world football these days, almost every goal kick, the higher you go up the levels, taken inside that 6-yard box pretty much. Good change for the game, you think, Josh, that rule?
The players inside the box, I think that was a fantastic change for the game of football. Obviously made it a lot easier for players to play it out from the back. You
get to play some football, don't you? You don't just have to get it launched.
The idea of waiting for the ball arbitrarily to come outside of the area before you could touch it was maybe a little bit too arcane.
I mean, it's not arbitrary. There's a line there. It's the opposite of arbitrary. It's very black and white. But we'll do our English analysis later on. Balcatta.
The kickoff no longer having to go forward, also another positive change for football.
Yeah, that one I'm not as happy about. So just like it's just one of those weird little quirks. It doesn't really change the game that much. Just to have one extra person in there to touch it back.
Tap the ball too.
Yeah, I just same thing with the kicking the ball to yourself from a goal kick in Aussie rules when they changed that so you could just run out of the square. It's like, I don't know. I like the little dinky kick to yourself, but anyway, starting to sound more and more like an old man. No clouds to yell at tonight though, Josh. Look at this beautiful night here at Frank Drago Reserve for this round 4 clash between two sides, both on 1 point and all but out of contention.
Yeah, no stat padding in this sport either.
Oh, there is nowadays. Heard of players that know how their performances are being tracked, and they'll sort of do shuttle sprints when they're going left and right and the ball's up the other end, because it increases the percentage of sprints that they perform during the game.
Childish behaviour, Sean.
A lot of money on the line, though, so you can see where they do it. Here's Hargraves. A little heavy there, and Fester will mop up. Lovely little header down for Fester again. He's just playing 1-2s with everyone at the moment.
I think we're seeing a little bit of a different side to Fremantle City this week from what we have in previous rounds. Balcatta, obviously a team that sits a little bit deeper, a little bit more in a shape compared to the more expansive Perth Glory and Armidale that we saw in previous weeks. So Fremantle, the side that are possibly going to have to take the impetus in terms of playing the ball out from the back. That said, we do have a spell of Balcatta possession, just as I've said that.
As Balcatta look to play it out from the back. Attacking down the right, a couple of men to beat there for Hudson. One of the Hudsons of the Liam variety on this occasion. Got the ball caught up under his feet, but wins a throw.
And that is why I think they want to go so quickly. They have the pace on the wings in Liam and Declan Hudson. Spectacular chest control and left foot cross from Declan Hudson to set up the second goal from Ben Hencherwood last week. If they can expose the defence and get their backs running towards the goal, that's when they're going to be really dangerous, especially with a player of the height of Hencherwood to target in there.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty traditional sort of 4-3-3 from Balcatta, doesn't it? With the two wide wingers, both in the fancy fluoro yellow boots, and the big man in the middle. Tried and true. Weird to think of these sort of formations as throwbacks now, with all the things you're seeing around football at the moment.
The 4-2-2-2 box and
the fullbacks inverting and coming into midfield.
The return of the 2-3-5 from back from the 1940s.
Yeah, those were the days.
Aside from when the war happened.
Okay. We don't talk about the war. Not on stream. I think that was in our contract.
Steele.
Shares it with Betts and then looks to come infield, but a poor touch from Chalmers. Ball might have bobbled on the pitch there. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Balcatta can't make them pay, and Betts will mop up back to Radnich. All three Fremantle forwards staying very high as we look down in front of us, Josh. So almost all three on the shoulder of the last man. And here we go, long ball over the top. This must be something that they've either identified in Balcatta as potentially a weakness, or just something that you want to work on. You get to do these kinds of things in pre-season without too much risk.
Well, the big change up top for Fremantle as well. We've seen Sam Cook lead the line over the last couple of weeks. He's now taken a back seat, and Kyle Moody gets his opportunity to start in the 9. Scored the equaliser last week on what we're probably generously calling an Ali Galami assist.
Heckwatch trying to weasel his way through there. Unable to do so. And Balcatta are going to look to go the other way. Look at Hudson go, clicking it into third and fourth gear. Couldn't get away from the third white shirt. Eventually dispossessed by Galami.
Just a little sense there of the dangers you get with the players prepared to run at their fullback.
Yeah, fullbacks don't like it. You should try and do it more. Steele not finding the option he wants, but he was pointing to people to get in behind, so it does seem like something Fremantle want to focus on here in this first half, is getting on the shoulder and getting balls in behind, but it wasn't exactly a high line and there wasn't a lot of space, and more importantly there wasn't anyone on the last shoulder, so there was no one for him to go to. And yeah, it just looks like a bit of lack of communication, and few shrugs of the shoulders. Taj Bingwa asking something of the linesman there. Assistant referee, I should say. Sorry, Nova, if you're listening.
I think there was a little query about potentially the keeper picking up a back pass there from Jesse Fuller when he controlled that ball over his shoulder. I think it was one that the referee was happy to let slide early on in this game.
Charlie's away again. He's got a bit of green grass in front of him. But has it snuffed out by Kwa. Here's a chance once again for Hudson. No Hinshelwood in the middle though. I mean, he was there, but couldn't get there in front of the man of steel. Clears it out for a corner.
That's exactly the sort of situation, though, that Balcatta are looking to exploit. They keep the Hudson Twins high and wide, and as soon as they win their ball just outside their 18-yard box, they're looking to spray that diagonal pass into their path. Blame Kwa that time, who put the leather through it.
Haven't managed to come up with a shot of note, or even a shot that I can think of, Balcatta, but you think on balance of play, in between the two penalty boxes, they've probably edged this game, but they find themselves with goals down. What can they come up with from this corner? It's a lofted one to the back post, trapped nicely. Kwa lays it off. And a shot from 600 yards out was never going to trouble the Fremantle goalkeeper.
It was a strange one. Trying to keep that corner alive, they seem to be taking into less and less dangerous territory with every pass.
And it was almost like they just wanted to get it out for a goal kick and avoid the possibility of a counter-attack. And they did that well.
It is always a live threat. We saw a fantastic goal from Armidale right back against Fremantle by Armidale right back Emerson Alexis off a spectacular through ball by Pity Orkobs.
Bingwa is in. He had a man in the middle and couldn't find him. The inevitable chance of handball as the ball pops up onto a player from half a yard away. Still the danger not cleared. Galami! Parried out for a corner.
Well, he had the whole left side of that goal gaping. He smashed it as hard as he could, leathered it straight at the goalkeeper. Connor Campbell comfortably padding it away. Jesse Fuller did great work to snuff out the first chance, but then scuffed his clearance and left his side in a bit of bother. Campbell able to pad it away for a corner.
The first real good bit of attacking play there from Fremantle City. And a chance to double their lead. If they can connect on something from this corner routine. Heckwash takes it short. That's too easy, that 1-2 there. Got to be a little more alive to that, Balcatta. Not just the first pass, but the second ball back.
Well, that's why you've always got to send two players out when they take the short corner, because you can't afford to leave a 2v1.
And again, sleeping once more, and Heckwash tries to sneak it in at the front post. Keeper couldn't quite claim it, and still they can't clear. It's just poor defending from Balcatta, and it's going to give Fremantle another chance. A header at the back post. Finally, gratefully claimed by Connor Campbell. He was, I'm sure, wondering what his troops were doing in front of him for a while there. Just sleeping again, the short corner routine. They've already got caught out once. And then to get caught out so quickly again, I think there's a few players out there who'll be lucky it's pre-season, because there would be some unhappy coaches if this is round one.
I could only imagine Scotty Miller's thoughts if someone had done that in his glory team back in the day.
Stray pass, and Heckwash with a bit of room. Again, Bingwa and Carl Moody just looking to stand on the shoulder and get him behind, and it's kind of the reason there hasn't been a lot of fluid build-up through the midfield from the men in white and maroon.
Had my coaches wrong. Actually, should have said it was Glenn Grosdate who would have been irate with that. And in fact, he would have been. He's a very organised man, is Glenn Grosdate.
Absolutely. There we go, the forwards coming short on this occasion. Giving an option, and McCullough now looking to make something happen. Ball in behind for Heckwash. He manages to keep it in. Back for McCullough. The two of them combined quite nicely last week after the Latter came on as a substitute. Kalami mopping up. Betts. Bingwa. Sliding challenge from Kwakwa. Couldn't quite take the ball. And this is good now from Fremantle. Good spell of possession. Threatening from the earlier corners and now really starting to assert themselves into this game. Been a real change from the opening 5 or 10 minutes. Here's a ball to the back post. Very nearly a golden opportunity there for Taj Bingwa, who, had he found the back of the net, it would have been chalked out for offside anyway. Campbell will restart things with a rolling ball.
It was an interesting sequence of play from Fremantle. No width for them out on this right-hand side, but that's because Taj Bingwa had crept into that back post area. Nobody tracking him from Balcatta, like he'd strayed into an offside position.
Hargraves heads it down, but it's straight to a white shirt. And a lovely ball here. A chance in the end from a very wide angle for Bingwa. And now he dives in. That's a little bit late and reckless, that one. And studs were showing. A little bit surprised he's not at least getting a talking to there from the referee. I don't think that was what you would call a good challenge.
It was a bit of an impetuous challenge, I might call it. Don't think he was ever going to get anything on the ball there. It was a bit of frustration. His first touch just took him a little bit too wide to get a decent shot away there.
Give a bit of credit as well to the Balcatta man, Theodoro, for not making a meal of it, as footballers are wont to do. Did have a little suggestion to the assistant referee that perhaps the studs were showing there, and just look after me a little bit, mate.
Just a gentlemanly chat.
And there you go, Makala and Heckwatch exchanging possession again. Makala tries to what, Josh?
I think either a shot or a cross would be generous in that situation.
So exactly in the middle that we can't tell which one it was. That's all right. Pre-season, shake off the rust. That's what we're both doing here as well. We'll make a mistake at some point, and when we do, we won't be too hard on ourselves.
The ball summarily yeeted out of play.
All right, there's your mistake. We can talk about a lot of things, but we're not introducing that into the vernacular. Campbell with the long ball. Still yeets it back with, oh no, you've got me going. Fremantle on the march. Moody back for Makala. Makala back for Moody. Moody back for Makala. This one's a shot. And on this occasion, I'll borrow the old footballing cliche, Josh, you could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to kill that one into the top corner and just didn't quite get enough on it.
Jeez, Connor Campbell's been busy so far in this game, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, certainly in the last 5 or 10 minutes, he's been called into action. Hasn't really made a save that you wouldn't expect him to make, but still got to make those saves. Unfortunately, that's not what he did on the opening goal. One that he'd probably want to have back. Other than that, it's been all right. That is the obvious tragedy of goalkeeping, isn't it, Josh? You make one mistake and it can cost you a game. Strikers get to make 100 mistakes a game and then they can still come off with the match ball as the hero. That's why it takes a special kind of person to be a goalkeeper. Interpret that how you will. Heckwatch.
Are you calling me special, Sean?
I cannot imagine you keeping goal, Josh. Not a large human. Chalmers turns it over. Balcatta will look to go the other way. Hinshelwood just feeling a little bit isolated all of a sudden. Getting balls wide early and getting them into the box, and even then, though, he was really the only one there. So, is this what you sort of expect to see of Balcatta this season? I know you said having the Hudson Twins wide and that pace gives them that outlet. But it does feel like the way they're set up so far, they're going to be light on those late runners into the box, and that's going to be really important for them if they're going to be scoring many goals.
Yeah, it does feel like there's maybe a missing link there between the midfield and the front line. Of course, if you can play that diagonal early, then you're going to be able to get in behind the defence, and I'm sure Ben Hinchelwood is going to be scoring plenty of goals again this year. He was also normally the designated penalty taker, but potentially a little bit of quality still to come into this lineup in the midfield. They seem to be heavy on the defensive end in midfield, but it's maybe just that link player that they're looking for to connect with Hinchelwood in case they do find that they can't mine an avenue to goals down the wing.
Oh, lovely ball, and almost from Bingwa. Looked like it was on the money there. Just floated on, and it's floated to Makala. His shot is blocked, and Campbell claims. Feels like the exact bit of spice that they might need in that midfield is in the opposition wearing the number 8 today. Josh, he'd certainly fit into this Balcatta side very well, and we'll see how they go. We do have a player down for Balcatta on the far side. What have you got for me, Josh?
Looks like it might be Luke Alessandrino, the right back, who's just holding his hip or his back. Something's gone amiss over there. My hip.
It looked like upper back to me, but
I think his arm moved.
Yeah. Oh, they can do that, can't they? Yeah. Hopefully nothing too serious. Physio's out there nice and quickly. It'll give the lads a chance to get a bit of a drink and a break. Assistant referees sweating a bit. You can see from up here. It's not that hot, is it? It's a mild, muggy night here at Frank Drago Reserve. We'll get the Bureau of Meteorology to tell us exactly what we're... 31 degrees, apparently. That is warm.
Well, you're in a suit jacket. I'm
just always sweating. I just assume that it's always...
I'm in the Macron branded Perth Football Podcast jumper, so we are dressed for cooler weather tonight, but it's definitely hotter out on the pitch where they're running around in pretty manic fashion.
So it looks like it's not going to be a game ender. Well, I shouldn't say that, actually, because now they do substitute off on the far side if that's the closest side, don't they? But
seems to be getting tended by the physio rather than being directed back to the bench.
Yeah. Haven't made any calls for substitution or anything, so that'll be a bit of good news. Balcatta fans, Alessandrino will be joining us once again shortly. I think the thumbs up there from the physio confirms that. They did have some substitutes ready to go if required. You can put your bib on and sit back down, son.
The concern did seem to get less palpable as that examination went on from the physio down there. We're back underway.
Alessandrini just waiting for the wave and gets it. One of those ridiculous quirks of football when the referee decides to allow a player back onto the field. See, some referees almost take it as we've got a bit of power over this situation and you are going to wait until I tell you.
New rule, of course, you can stay on if a yellow card has been handed out.
Yeah. They will wait till the treatment's finished. I wouldn't call that a new rule, Josh. How new is new?
I think we're talking about
around last season,
4 or 5 years. That one.
Yes, it's not new at all. Check out my new car.
In the context of the history of football,
yeah. How far do you want to go?
Context of the history of the human race.
Yeah, exactly.
Fairly new.
Of the creation of the solar system, etc. Let's get back into the football as everyone's shouting at their screens for us to do. Bingwa looking to get around a couple, and I think just doing quite well there, Declan Hudson. He sort of knew he was just going to be taken down and just threw his body in the way as long as you're within playing distance of the ball, you'll get that one from the referees. Heckwash, the highest presser there. This press from City, very high, and it's worked out delightfully. Little back heel, I don't think was intended for McCullough, but he comes up with it anyway. And Hargraves doing the dirty work, getting it launched, but it's coming straight back.
Chalmers is a quiet achiever at the base of that midfield for Fremantle. You don't talk about him too often, but sometimes that's the credit to those players that you're not necessarily noticing what they're doing.
Delightful ball there, just a little heavy. Allows Fuller to come over and snuff out the City attack. Heckwash fluffs his lines on the ball inside. Here's Hargraves. Lovely ball fizzed out to the wing for Hudson. Does really well to draw the foul there. In a position of some danger for Fremantle. Set piece. The right-hand edge of the penalty area, about 25 yards out.
The big lad's going forward from the back as well.
We'd love to see it rumbling on up top. Kurt Harris. Walking in with a bit of a swagger. Looks like a man who thinks he's getting on the end of this. Hinshaw up there as well, of course. They're the two main targets, towering over all the rest. And the hand immediately goes up from Declan Hargraves. Oh, I thought he was apologising the ball. It might have taken a nick off the wall.
I think even if it hadn't, he'd be calling for that corner there to spare some blushes.
Well, if it took a deflection, I guess we can say it's not really his fault. And he'll try again from the corner. The last one was the flat bat floater to the back post. Same here. Doesn't evade the reach of Radonjic, and he's going to look to get things going early on. That one probably gets a bit under it. Couple of Balcatta headers won, but Fremantle pick it up on the turf, and Heckwash with a bit of space again. Looks to spread it for McCullough. They really do like to link up, those two.
Some touch like on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking like a good understanding being built between the number 8 and their left winger early in pre-season. Here they go again, right on cue. We love that. Wide for Bingwa. Bingwa's got the overlap, but opts not to use it. Heckwash will. Bingwa now with a bit of space. It opens up for him and looked like he was going to shoot, then looked like he was going to pass, and in the end he did neither. Fuller came out and dealt with the danger.
Just seemed to overthink that one. Bingwa had the opportunity to shoot, but Jesse Fuller's too experienced to be caught with a dribble like that. It's a sloppy touch there in midfield from McCullough. Let's Balcatta take over.
Kwakwa. I'm just going to say it every time he gets the ball. What a name. Here he goes. Let me do it again. Kwakwa all over the place. He's overlapping as well. Hudson decides to go for glory. Has that blocked. Loose touch early from Johnny Chalmers, but rectifies things, and he's on the ball again here. Bit of space for Galami. Opts not to turn. Not a lot in front of him. Once again, all Fremantle forwards sticking very high. Balcatta happy to give them the ball in this part of the pitch. I think they're quite happy to have these wingers on the last shoulder when the line's only 30 yards or so out from goal. Certainly they've looked a lot more dangerous when McCullough's been coming in shorter and linking up with the midfield.
Bingwa's had a bit of joy as well. He's gotten into good areas. It's just a bit of finishing touch with him, I think.
The ball into the channel there, where they would have liked to have a winger on the shoulder. But none there on this occasion. They will win the throw, though. About a half an hour gone in the first half. Round 4 night series here at Frank Drago Reserve. Fremantle City taking on Balcatta Soccer Club. A scuffed Charlie Heckwatch opener. Evaded the grasp of Connor Campbell. Not one will suggest you go back and check the highlight reel for, but it is the only goal separating the two teams tonight. His steal. In behind for Bingwa. Well read, well marshalled by Charlie Betts. Looks to keep it on the deck and can't quite find a teammate. In Kwakwa, yep. I just wasn't going to say because he didn't actually get the ball, but should take every opportunity that comes your way. Some nice triangles here from City and a lovely ball there from Heckwatch, and there is a second. Fremantle City with a nice goal this time, Josh. Much more pleasing on the eye. Some beautiful passing in midfield. And a lovely ball from the number 8.
Some wonderful quick 1-2s from that three-man midfield from Fremantle City. All of a sudden it opened up. That pass in behind for Carl Moody. But how good was that finish? The keeper's, he's a big man in goal, Connor Campbell. He came out, he made himself big. He got out to the ball, and Carl Moody with that little dink over the top. A really high-quality finish.
Spectacular
from the
pass,
striker.
spectacular finish, and I think he got so excited by it that Fremantle City President Tony Estrano has just come up, and he needs to jump on and talk about it, Josh. So I'm going to get rid of you for a second and speak to the new greatest man on stream. Fremantle City President Tony Estrano joining us. First of all, Tony, thank you very much. Lovely to meet you today, and but thank you so much for giving up your time and jumping on stream with us.
Oh, it's always a good time to come on when we're 2 goals up, right?
Oh, absolutely. That is the score here. Balcatta Soccer Club 0, Fremantle City 2. Did you see that goal while you were on your way up? A lovely little dink finish, wasn't it?
Yep, a bit of Charlie Checklet's magic there as well.
Yeah.
We're setting that up.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's been superb so far. Obviously a player that I assume you're going to expect big things out of this season. Absolutely magnificent last year, wasn't he? And he's almost as good as it gets if you're looking for a footballer in certainly a midfielder in Perth at the moment, isn't he?
Oh, for any young kid who wants to know what a number 8 needs to do, he's the one you want to watch.
So tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing this year, Tony. Obviously, you're the president here. There's big things expected now of this club, as I mentioned last week, and to anyone that will listen to me talk their ear off about football in Perth, that all of these sides are coming up and setting standards, like your Sterlings and your Kingsways of previous season, and now any side that comes up, there's almost that expectation that you're now going to come up and compete and be a top club. That division below is just so strong. So where do you go from a really positive showing last season?
Yeah, look, I think the standard, there's no easy games in the NPL. So every game's going to be cracker. Every game's going to be hard fought. And, look, we're super excited, right? So 2 new coaches on the men's side, and we've got a new head coach on the female side. So, yeah, look, we're excited.
Well, a good result while we're talking about it. Valentine's Day present for you last night with a big win. I was just speaking before to some of your other colleagues, saying I was actually quite glad that you decided to do this one, and not as much as I love the women's game here in Perth, but I would have had to explain my Valentine's Day absence last night to go and commentate a football game, which may not have gone down well. So appreciate you doing that and giving them their first game sort of off stream and get things going there. But how are things looking on the women's side?
Look, really good. So fantastic. So great to get that first result, especially with Sam, new head coach, getting the first win on the board's always wonderful. But looking through the stats there of last night's game, I think the girls were absolutely fantastic. So really happy about that sort of start. But when I guess the fun of the female side is most of that team were down this morning 8 a.m. at Warhawk Park doing a busy bee. So we had about 30 people down this morning doing a huge clean-up where we're just in the final stages of the $1 million change room renovation for our women. So it's looking absolutely fantastic. And then we've also got the MPLW Legacy Grant, another $300K that is coming to the end of that one. So it was great to see a lot of the girls and some of the parents down there as well, helping out about 35 people down there this morning. So fantastic.
It's certainly one of those clubs you have that's known for being that community club. We mentioned it last week, and we said it just makes it a lot more special, I'm sure, being in your position and overseeing this club that gives so much to so many people, so many families, to the community.
Absolutely, it's one of the best communities you could ever wish for, because it is a tough job, and I think a lot of clubs are experiencing the fun of play football registrations for this start of the season. Our administrators across every pathway, the time and effort they've given over these last few weeks has been absolutely phenomenal. So huge shout out to them, and I guess all the club's administrators at the moment going through their wonderful registration process. It's a huge volunteer task that no one sees the fun side of.
Is there a fun side of it?
When it's all done. It's all done.
I'm sure the administration I hear is potentially going to get a little bit difficult, certainly for some teams in coming seasons. I know there's rule changes. I don't know the exact rules, but something where you have to have 5 under-23s per squad in the first team or whatever it might be. And obviously that will be quite a tough change. I know there's some clubs not happy about it. I know there's some clubs that think it's a good change, and some that think otherwise. There's a little improvised finish there, looking for his second, Carl Moody, but couldn't quite get his feet sorted. But I think for the teams that have these junior development pathways and have a lot of good avenues into the first team, which is what I believe I've been told you guys have. How are you feeling about these changes?
Look, it's tough. The long picture is fantastic, getting the youth into those sort of top levels of football, but is it too soon? Have we got enough talent of that age groups to be able to step up to that first team? That will probably be the tricky part for the first couple of seasons. If I look at where we're sitting, I think we're in a fantastic position at the moment. We've got our academy turns 8 this season, so for 8 years we've been running since under 9s upwards for academies for both boys and girls. So that's fantastic. Junior talent coming through. And if we look at the way that we've set up our MPL setup this year has been phenomenal as well. So we've got our head coach of our 16s, JDL now we call it, no more MPL juniors. So the head coach there is also the assistant coach in our 18s. So we're really making sure we've got that connection from those juniors that are ready to step into the 18s. So our pathway's been there for a while, but now we're really making sure that the coaches are across that as well, because we need to get that, as you said, 2026, 5 players under 23, and 2 of them need to be 20 or under as well.
Well, I think that's the overall, well, the potential benefit of it, depending on how it all unfurls, is that it will mean that teams do need to focus on that pathway and bringing those juniors through. And it might just be a thing that's a little unsettling for some teams that didn't quite have the infrastructure or the system in place. But maybe now they just have to sort of develop it, and it could be good in the long run. Maybe sometimes that change is just needed before you're ready for it. Just like, remember when Apple took away the headphone jack from the iPhone? Everyone was furious, but no one has corded headphones anymore now, do they? I say that as we're sitting here in corded headsets. But.
Of course. But look, I think the big one will also be the difference between State League 1 and the MPL as well, because then if you're in State League 1, you can have 7 or so visa players, and then you don't have those sort of restrictions on it. Are we going to see a bit of the top talent sort of move to State League 1? So that's the other challenges that I think we need to look at and address as well.
Well, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it all unfurls. I'm just looking around for your relief there. Josh is just having a chat and Has he got me a coffee there, or is he? No, he's got himself a Coke and a coffee. That's a good man, isn't he? We're going to let you go, mate, but thank you so much. Tony Estrano, Fremantle City President, been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and
thanks, guys.
With you sometime.
Yeah, look, fantastic job, right, commentating these games, doing the live streams, the feedback that we're getting. Everyone's loving it. So
thank you guys
looking
for
forward
having
to
us.
it, and then we've got the girls next week.
Absolutely.
So can't wait.
Cannot wait. We will speak to you very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Moody getting in behind again there as Tony leaves, and another little tasty chip over the top. It wouldn't have counted anyways. The flag was up, but no worries. Thank you, mate. We go from the great man back to the greatest man. Josh, how have you been? You got your, we going skim milk latte? Is that what you're on there?
We've got a hot chocolate.
Oh, a hot chocolate.
Down here.
Just, yeah. I mean, you got your caffeine with the Coke Zero, and you're double parked there with the beverages. I guess on a hot night, you want the hot chocolate, but then you need something to cool it down, don't you? Ice chocolates are a thing. You could have gone for one of those. Maybe they don't sell them.
Not sure if they serve them here, but the hospitality is fantastic.
It is fantastic. I'm going to go grab myself something for lunch.
The Bayswater City Soccer Club for hosting this night series game. The just giving a little tidbit from our producers, actually some of the fans down here. Kyle Moody, the Irish import for Fremantle City, scored that goal. His 32nd birthday tonight.
Oh, fantastic. Absolute spring chicken. Yeah, I was saying lunch before. Obviously, I mean dinner down at the cafe. What's the hot tip down here at Frank Drogo Reserve for food, Josh? I know you got some chips last week. Is there? Do they have a specialty? Kalichi's probably
the chips are good. They always serve a decent burger, the Basie burger.
Yep. All right.
Kalichi uses that as a bit of a barometer for food around the grounds here.
Yeah.
Also, a Conti roll, not something that I eat myself with my dietary choices, but the Conti roll is an option down here.
Yeah, not something that I eat myself for my taste choices. It just doesn't quite have what I need. Not enough sugar, not enough salt, not enough fat. I just want all the bad stuff when I come down to watch football, and I'm thinking, you like your Sorrento curry and chips or whatever they do up there, and your chips and gravies all over the place, and it's always a good feed, but you do always get that sort of 9 p.m. regret at home when you sit down and you've just eaten way too much chips and gravy.
Well, Balcatta, one of the host teams for this broadcast today, famously have fantastic chips.
There we go.
Down there, go down to Grindleford Reserve and check them out over the course of this season.
All right, that was the Perth Football Podcast Food Watch NPL first episode for season 2025. Hoping someone throws us a curveball, brings something new, some new... we didn't even talk about Kingsway, did we? We'll get onto their food in the second half. That's always fantastic up there. The first half has ended. We'll be back in about 15 or 20 minutes with the second. Fremantle City leading by 2-0. The opener scuffed in from Charlie Heckwatch, one that the keeper would have wanted back, and the second, not much he could have done about it. It was a sumptuous chip from Carl Moody. Charlie providing the assist after a lovely little bit of link-up play and one-touch passes pinging all around the middle of the park before the second one. So you don't need to go back and watch the first one, but if you didn't catch the second, check it out. Lovely goal from the Whites here tonight. We'll be back with the second half shortly.
We are back.
Well, one of us is anyway. I could be professional and not tell you that Josh hasn't returned for the second half, but I'd rather just throw him under the bus. So it's just me, Sean Fry, at the moment from the Perth Football Podcast on the call. Excuse me. This round 4 night series game between Fremantle City and Balcatta currently being led by 2-0 by Fremantle. This man scored the opener, Charlie Heckwatch, tackled there by Kwakwa, before Carl Moody chipped in a delightful second. And he has finally returned, the greatest man, Josh Chite. He is here alongside me. And Josh, what are you expecting to see in this second half? Just give me a pretty long-winded sentence or two so I can tuck a little bit more into this Basie burger.
Well, we started out with a bit more of what we saw in the first half. Fremantle dominating this one at the moment. We're probably going to have to see a few changes made from Balcatta. We've already seen one of the Hudsons, I think Liam, go inside into a more central position to support Ben Hinshelwood. So getting some dangerous players a little bit closer to the target man.
Bit of big man,
there.
Small man.
Bit of big man, little man. We're going back. We were talking about going back in time before, and I think Glenn Grosstate has delivered with
4-4 bloody 2, mate.
With the English Premier League formation from the 1990s. So we'll see if going even more direct can help them out.
They do go direct to the small man in the small man big man combo this time, and he plays a nice little touch out to the wing, but they can't quite make it work, and getting shoved over there was Riley Woodcock. Free kick going to Fremantle, and I have to say, Josh, the yardstick you spoke of in the first half, the Basie burger, it's living up to its reputation. Absolutely fantastic feed. So if you're ever wanting to get down to a local football game, no better place than here at Frank Drago Reserve, especially if you haven't had your dinner yet, because I mean, there's not many places in Perth we can get a burger of this quality for $10 dues, Josh. That is just about as cheap as it gets. Cost of living these days. Just bring your family down to Frank Drago. You feed the whole family for $40 with 4 of the best burgers you'll ever taste. Back to the football. Balcatta looking to chip away at this Fremantle lead. It was a funny one in the first half. They sort of had the lead without really deserving it, but by the end of the first half you did really feel that Fremantle had been the better side and were probably knocking on the door for more, but it's Balcatta at the moment doing the door knocking like a bunch of Jehovah's Witnesses. And still knocking. I'm going to curl one in at the far post off of the left foot there. I believe one of the substitutes, Yazalu, must have come on at half-time. So a bit of a reshuffle in terms of personnel as well as shape.
Yeah, so we've seen Luke Alessandrino, who picked up a back knock of some description, which saw a delay in play. He's come off. The left back, Dimitros Theodorou, has gone over to right back for Balcatta, and Matthew Tomasone has slotted in the left back position, getting forward. Just then, Arian Yazalu as well out on the pitch for Balcatta, with Benjamin Ogninas heading to the bench.
Flag up there for Fremantle. Fuller was looking to get us restarted, but passes that on to Connor Campbell. Going to just push a little higher. Long ball looking for Hinshelwood. Good challenge there from Steele against the man that he's conceding a couple of inches to. Hinshelwood! Well, we wanted some throwbacks. We wanted some good old-fashioned wing play, some 4-4-2 action. It's not much better than that. Get it wide, whip it in onto the head of the big man. Just missing that finish, but it was not a bad effort from the big number 12.
It was a lovely touch in there from the substitute Aryan Yarzalu as well, off a pretty wild slash back into the box from Declan Hargreaves. Yarzalu gets his opportunity at the top level with Balcatta. He played a bit of reserves and a little bit of first-team football at Bayswater previously, so a pitch that he knows well.
As we've alluded to a couple of times already, just Liam Hudson just hovering in and around that number 10 position. Lovely ball out from Makala. Finds his best mate on the pitch in Heckwatch, and once again, they're just waxing it together. More beautiful football from the boys in white. Good touch. Maybe some fortune there, and it looks like it's come off a hand. One of those ones that you don't get paid down one end of the field, but you get them paid in the other opposition penalty box.
You know what you see with Charlie Hexlaz when he's in and around the area is just the pace of his movement off the ball. He'll play a pass, he'll move off, and defenders don't track him because he's always going at top speed. It's really incredible to see, and it gives you a sense of why he's such a difficult player to play on. It's not just his the quality of his control.
And that's when I talk about this. Oh, you can probably catch that keeper. I don't know what Josh would have thought. I don't think you would call that an intentional pass. But no one quite is ever sure of that rule, are they?
We're never quite sure what's going in the referee's head.
That's right.
I think is the question.
It's more that you're double guessing what the referee's thinking. You might know that you can catch it. But yeah, as you said about Charlie, just superb. And that's why when I talk about this, him developing this understanding with Makala, which I feel like has really been on display tonight. Just a couple of players that want to pass and move, and they want to touch and move. And when you pass it, you're expecting that second touch back, and you're already on the move. And when you can get players that play like that in forward positions, the final third can be a very dangerous place for your opponents. And it'd be very interesting to see if hopefully both of them stay fit and firing all season, what they can produce. And obviously Carl Moody with the sumptuous finish tonight showed that he can get in on that action as well. So some promising signs. It's been a slow pre-season for Fremantle, but I think they'll be happy with what they've seen so far tonight. Yuzalu, the sub, coming inside. Kwakwa lets it run under his foot. Poor touch from Hargreaves. Heckwatch with the chance. He was looking for Makala, but realised his teammate had just straight offside by the time he wanted to make the pass, so cooled things down. A really good performance, I think, from the opening 10 minutes on from Fremantle. They're very slow to get out of the gates, but now that things are clicking.
Yeah, and interesting, you brought up Hexlaz and the role that he plays. He's playing a lot higher than he did at the start of last season at Fremantle, and he's got a little bit more freedom as well to really go and be the key man for them with Pat Lowry and Ollie Lagalia on their way to Bayswater this season. At the back, they've tried their third centre-back pairing in as many weeks with Ben Steele and George Fester, and they haven't put too many feet wrong with a difficult challenge handling the big frame of Ben Hinshelwood.
I'm biting my tongue to not correct your pronunciation every time Charlie's name gets mentioned, Josh, but I'm not going to allow you to get away with mispronouncing Ollie Lagolia's name. Thank you very much. Strike there, producing a save from Radonjic. I think his first of the second half. Maybe his first all game. He hasn't really had a lot to do, has he?
No, Hinshelwood had the half chance early on, which he scuffed against the defender off the cross from Liam Hudson. That one, a bit of a clearer opening, but always on an angle that was going to favour the goalkeeper.
Still inside the opening 10 minutes of the second half here in round 4 of the NPL Night Series in WA. Fremantle taking on Balcatta and currently leading by 2-0. Thank you for joining us wherever you are. We believe the YouTube stream is the only place to find us at the moment due to some technical difficulties, but share it around if you've got any friends wanted to get a piece of the local footballing action. there's nowhere better to be than here at Frank Drago Reserve. And if you can't be here, then jump onto YouTube and watch us there. I'm Sean Fry from the Perth Football Podcast, joining you due to the wonderful initiatives of both of these clubs chipping in together to put on a stream. And obviously we haven't mentioned him tonight yet, but these things don't happen without the magnificent Goran operating the sticks to our left. Josh, the consummate professional. Some professional defending there by Fremantle City, and it looks like Steele might be down with a knock to the head, maybe a finger in the eye.
Yeah, I think he's just caught a trailing arm from Ben Hinshelwood there.
It looked like one where he sort of wanted to keep going and then realised maybe he couldn't see straight, or guess it turns out you can hurt Steele. Apologies to Ben and family for my distasteful joke. I'd feel terrible now if he was severely hurt. Hopefully he is all right. I'm obviously a big fan if you've listened to enough of my commentary. Well, good opportunity for us to bring in a ringer, Josh, while they deal with this injury. And as I got the pleasure of having a chat with Tony Estrano, I'm going to give you the pleasure, probably even more pleasurable to be honest, knowing the great man, but Peter Carlino, the president of Balcatta this time. There's been big investments in the club rooms and the kitchens are getting all refreshed. Josh, I'm sure he's very excited about those and can't wait to chat to you about it. So I'm going to stand up and let him take a seat, and I'll join you back in about 3 hours whenever you guys have finished chinwagging.
Welcome, Peter. Man I know well from my time in West Australian football. Peter, your Balcatta, known as perennial underdogs of the NPL WA men's competition. Do you think you're going to be changing that now that you've had a good few years in the run of Glenn Grosdate as coach?
Josh, I reckon from where we've come from to what we've built up with, the view is definitely to keep on rebuilding and become a contender in the top four playoffs. It definitely is our goal.
And tell us about some of the work that you've got going on down at Grindleford Reserve, because we saw the installation of some lights for night games last season, some spectacular nights down there, especially in the women's football. What's the work that you've got going on down there at the moment?
At the moment, we've got several projects. One of them was some government funding we've received to upgrade our club rooms and also install new facilities outside in terms of just getting the getting the viewing pleasure for people a bit more out closer to the game. So it'll be nice and brand new, and plus the kitchen getting renovated as well, so we can cook up some really culinary delights for everyone that comes down, and maintain the quality out in the kitchen that comes through people's way every game day.
Well, I'm sure you've heard us wax lyrical about the quality of the chips on our favourite.
Best chips in the land, apparently. Yes.
Well, we'll let you say that one, Peter. We'll put the words in your mouth. Tell us a little bit about the women as well. I believe their night series starting this weekend. Last season was a big year for you, making the top four for the first time in the NPL WA women's competition. What sort of work has been going on behind the scenes in the off-season there?
Oh, look, the Peter Rakic, our coach, is a fantastic, good coach, but he's a really good bloke. So in terms of the amount of work, he hasn't stopped. And the view for us is to continue pushing into that top four space and really... There we go. And...
We'll just cut to the action here. Shub McCullough spraying a shot against the side of the net there. Balcatta get away from that situation. Still 2 goals down. Connor Campbell will restart. Peter, tell us a little bit more about the women's setup.
Yeah, Pete's been pretty full on in terms of getting the squad settled, getting some good consistency in terms of the players themselves. So we're pretty confident this year for a good performance from our team there in the NPLW, and the whole women's structure is really coming together for us at the club. So really, basically focusing on delivering better pathways as best we can, dedicated TDs in that space. So we're looking for a really positive outcome in that area for us.
Something that's fantastic about Balcatta as well, you've always had a strong junior setup, going back to those days when Paul Wozni set up the academy down there. Tell us a little bit about the juniors as you step into a bit of a new era in junior football in WA.
Yes, juniors for us we've always had a big focus on juniors. You mentioned Paul Wozni. Again, Paul, I guess he was instrumental in bringing through the whole. Well, we didn't call it an academy back in those days, but I guess that's what it was. But it was developmental work from top to bottom in terms of the players, and the focus on that has not changed to the point now where we've got. It'll sound kind of corny, but we've got a dedicated football department that really its focus is on those developmental pathways, particularly within the new structure of the Junior Development League. And really the whole concept there is just basically with the new criteria we've got next year to fulfil at this NPL level is getting more of those young guys coming through and really supporting this team in terms of performing on the park.
Well, it'll be fantastic to see, and we're looking forward to seeing this side as well in your first game against Fremantle City, I believe, down at Hilton Park, Italian derby to start off the year.
Well, I think it's going to be might be a bit of a revenge match, I reckon, after this one. But what we're looking at is it's actually
you've still got about 30 minutes left to get something out of this.
That's okay. Mate, it's always good to get the boys going. The Freo game's actually on the 29th of March, and it will be a Super Saturday of football, and I think there'll be a bit more publicising around that date as well, because we'll do. I'll keep it under wraps, but there will be an announcement made leading up to that game in terms of that Super Saturday.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the broadcast, and thank you so much for helping us put it together, Peter. I'm going to welcome Sean Fry back to the call, but enjoy the rest of this one, and hopefully for your boys for the Etna, they can get a goal or two back and make this one exciting as we head into the final whistle.
Mate, looking forward to it, Thank you very much for the opportunity. Much appreciated.
Just breaking play here as Peter hands over back to Sean Fry. George Fester, the Fremantle centre half. He's spent a little bit of time on the ground getting treatment. Be interesting to see. It looks like there might be a change being made at the back, Sean.
Well, you can tell us more about that as I just had a little 10-minute nap there, Jockey. We got 18 minutes into the second half at Frank Drago Reserve. As we mentioned, round 4 of the night series, both sides all but out. Fremantle perhaps with the faintest of hopes of carrying on at the moment. If the score stays like it is, hasn't been a lot from Balcatta to suggest like they have 2 or 3 goals in them in the final half an hour, but football's a funny old game, Josh. We've seen things turn around in stranger circumstances than this.
Yeah, that change has been made, so George Fester's off the field. Looks like he picked up some sort of knock, and Nick Sanchalucia plays centre back. I think he's played just about every position on the pitch in the 3 night series games that we've covered here on the Fremantle City Football Club Per Football Podcast broadcast. So Nick Sanchalucia gets his opportunity to join Ben Steele at the back.
A very versatile man, although I would suggest that he'll be the one Hinshelwood will be looking to shuffle over to for any long balls forward. Maybe try and take advantage of what should be a reasonable advantage over him in the air, although he is dropping a little shorter here. Yeah. Steele going to
Anthony Skorich on as well for Balcatta, so we've gone the big man, big man.
The big man, big man. Forget the
Up
big
the
man,
top.
small man.
We've gone the Twin Towers up the top for Balcatta.
Oh, love it. What's next? What did you say? The 2-3-5?
The 4-2-4 classic end of the game FIFA formation for when you're chasing one.
Yeah, absolutely. They could just pop a couple of wingers up, push them forward alongside the big men, lose complete control of midfield and never see the ball again. Here's a Balcatta throw. The referee engaging in a little pedantry there.
Something we love on the Perth Football Podcast, Sean.
Yep. How far players are allowed to take throw-ins from where the ball went out will always be a massive favourite of mine. I'd love to see the data on that. Kalichi, if you're listening, get on it. Actually, we'll just get Tommy to go through and he can scrape all the data from every NPL game he's ever commentated on. Just give him an extra thing to take notes about.
Fremantle have won this free kick, Riley Woodcock being pushed over. They've done really well to press Balcatta every time they've had the opportunity.
Heckwatch curler. It's a lovely ball into a dangerous area and a diving punch required from Campbell. Still Fremantle looking to extend their 2-goal lead. Just pushing Balcatta deep, not letting him get it up to those big men up front. Woodcock getting it back. A lovely little dig from Heckwatch. Woodcock cross is good, finds a target, but just coming in at an awkward height for the left foot volley there. And now Balcatta going the other way. Lovely crunching tackle there from the substitute. It's certainly been a performance that I think will give a fair bit of hope for City going forward this season, certainly more than their last week's performance against the Glory. Heckwatch after some beautiful football and a lovely touch. Made the pass a little bit heavy, but some near calamitous defending allowed a corner there. Thankfully, it didn't end up too bad for Kurt Harris.
Yeah, Kurt Harris at the back there, hoping his keeper was going to come. It's one of those, you can't call the keeper out.
No.
Got to deal with it yourself.
Well, the keeper should be telling you what to do, shouldn't he, Josh? I think that's the situation there. Campbell's either telling you it's his or he's telling you to clear it. Oh, the outside of the boot finish there. It's squeezed through. Connor Campbell again. It'll be another one that he probably would like to have back, but I just don't think he was expecting it just to come out of nowhere like that. He wasn't shaped to shoot the City man, but in the end,
Sam
fashioned something with the outside of the right boot, and yeah,
Sam
any man's going to do it, it's going to be Cookie.
Sam Cook with the back heel. That'll get John Cook very happy in the crowd.
Was it a back heel? Was it a sort of outside of the boot flick? I'm going to say no, it wasn't a back heel, but I'll be happy to be proven wrong on the replay.
He brought it at home regardless, Sean.
Oh, he did. He did. Go back to the old classics. Just don't pull out the call you did last week, Josh. You upset a lot of people. Well, you upset one person. No one else noticed.
I upset Colicchio Sunwa.
Yeah, not a hard task, I've found. Just tell him he's being too defensive about something and off you go. I can feel the defensiveness emanating through my headphones as he's listening. If he's listening, I hope you are, and hope you're well, mate, if you are. It is now Fremantle 3, Balcatta Soccer Club 0 at Frank Drago Reserve as we tick past the halfway point of the second half. And looking more and more like a Fremantle victory, and one that you have to say they fully deserved, Josh.
Yeah, about 20 minutes left to defend what's now a 3-goal lead, and that strike from Sam Cook from an entirely avoidable corner, I think you could say.
Yes, yep. It's amazing how often that happens, or is it just confirmation bias that you remember when it happens from those, either the corners that you could have avoided or the ones that weren't actually corners? It seems to be brought up every week. I think people have just got to realise the goal still counts whether or not you should have conceded the corner, and just got to defend it better. Here's Fremantle with some defending to do, a little nudge in the back and a little tumble from Declan Hudson. I think kind of one of those ones where he was quite happy to go down, and then when he did, he realised he wasn't really fouled. So no complaints there from the Balcatta winger, other than the grimace and the limp that he's hopped up with. Hopefully he'll be okay to finish this one off.
Riley Woodcock's very good in those sorts of situations. The one-on-one, the defender running at him. He needed a bit of support to deal with the pressures of the other Hudson, Liam Hudson, in the first half, but he showed a clean pair of heels there to Declan Hudson on that one-on-one.
Galami just about giving it away for a Balcatta chance, but it deflects nicely back to Radonjic. The space here for Fremantle to operate in. Bingwa has a one-on-one, likes it, comes inside. He's going to get it back. Pushed a little bit wide by the pass. Picks up the 1-2, and a flush of the hand from Campbell diverts it away from goal, but the flag was up regardless. A little bit more action on the Fremantle substitutes bench. Just a couple of players warming up and have now sat back down. So we'll see if we get any more changes in the final 20 minutes or so. It has been a more entertaining and fluent game of football, I think, this week. Things starting to click into gear for City, and that's a wonderful pass there. Looking for Tomasoni, the substitute, but really well read by the defender. And Galami now looking to get Fremantle out of a corner. Balcatta pressing high, seeing if there's anything they can do. But that will leave space in behind, and with men like this on the ball, spraying passes like that for Bingwa, you're going to have to be very, very careful and hope your defenders do the job as they did there. Hudson once again dropping it back. Yazalu skirting inside and instigating the big switch. Now to Liam Hudson's side of the field. And back to Declan's side they come.
Yazalu is one player who I think is impressed on the ball since he came off the bench for Balcatta.
Big man with a hand up in the box was Skorich, never reached him, but perhaps the corner will. Balcatta have developed a reputation for being a strong set-piece side.
Certainly have the weapons in the arsenal there to make something out of this.
You did there, Josh. I see what you did there. Global set-piece experts due to kick off against Leicester in about half an hour. But keep your eyes on this one.
Well, the corner itself needs to be a little bit more accurate for that one to pay off.
The set pieces may not be as good as at the Emirates, but I think the burgers are probably better here. So, in fact, I don't think I know that.
And with the exchange rate, Sean.
Yeah. Cost of living, etc., etc.
Looks like Liam Evans and Cam Edwards just prepped to come on for Kyle Moody and Ali Galami. Cam Edwards, the veteran, gets what I think might be his first run out in this night series competition, certainly in the games that we have shown on our broadcast, Sean.
Yeah, well, no one's going to correct you, mate. So those substitutes that were warming up do get their chance at the end of this one. Make a bit of an impact, shake off a bit of rust, depending on what stage of their pre-season preparations they're in. Hekwash with a little shimmy, a shake of the hips, and away he goes. Lovely ball through, a chance for another. It remains 3-0 Fremantle for now. But they still look the most likely to add another one.
Sam Cook, he gets himself into great areas. Just let down by that first touch, took him back away from goal, and Balcatta were able to get players in front of him to spoil.
In front of him by the time he decided to pull the trigger.
Charlie Betts just moved to a more offensive position on the right wing. Nick Santalacia back out to the right. Liam Evans, yet another centre-back combination for Ben Steele to learn the ropes with.
Oh, he's done pretty well so far and did well again there. Ekwash losing out this time. The Fuller, who immediately gives it away. And a shake of the head and a drop of the shoulders. Sort of sums up the story for Balcatta tonight. Haven't quite been on it, other than probably the opening 5 or 10 minutes of the game. But as we've said every game so far this pre-season, it is only pre-season. A lot of football to be played. Not a ball being kicked in anger so far in terms of the season proper.
Yeah, Roston Griffiths a big out for Balcatta today. He led the line from the back last week. Played that magnificent crossfield ball that Declan Hudson brought down before the assist for Ben Hinshelwood's second. Balcatta famously a 7-0 loss in the final game of the night series last year to Inglewood. As it turned out, it was Inglewood who went down as the bottom place team.
The cursed cup. Well, thank you once again for joining us wherever you are and whoever you are and supporting local football here in Perth, just as Fremantle City and Balcatta are doing themselves by putting on this stream. We're delighted to be a part of it at the Perth Football Podcast. I'm Sean Fry, joined by the greatest man, Josh Chiat. And it's been a beautiful evening in terms of weather. And there's been some beautiful football down on the pitch. Fremantle banging in 3. The second, the absolute pick of the bunch. In terms of a beautiful passing move, a team goal, along with a delicious pass and a tasty little chip. That was Carl Moody. Hekwash had the opener. Sam Cooks had a third. From a corner. And that's where we are now, with just under 15 to go. Plus additional time added on for stoppages and injuries. Balcatta trying to find their opener. Won't find it like that. With the sure hands of Luke Radnich.
Really only the 2 half chances to Hinshelwood today for Balcatta. They'll be disappointed with what they have or haven't been able to create at the front. But Fremantle City, it's been a pretty composed and assured performance. Definitely a big step up for them from the previous games against Armidale and against Perth Glory. About 10 minutes left to go out here as well.
Radnich finding his winger. The header inside was robbed, and Kwakwa looked to get things going forward, but he had his pocket pinched as well. Lovely bit of skill there from Bingwa. Being pursued down the touchline by Hudson. I was just about to praise him for the industry and work rate that he's displaying as a forward in a late stage in a 3-0 loss, and rather petulant challenge And I was going to say it didn't look like he was going to get a booking, but I thought even in pre-season, that's surely enough to find your name in the referee's notebook.
It's definitely been Taj Bingwa's best performance so far in this night series. He looks really threatening, really lively. Just needs to find that composure in front of goals.
The ball whipped into a dangerous area. Was a neat little one from Woodcock.
Looked like Johnny Chalmers, Charlie Betts, in fact, with the last touch there. Johnny Chalmers not on the pitch anymore.
Yeah, just turned it on goal with the inside of the left foot. Awkward height to really...
Johnny Chalmers is on the pitch, actually, but now at left back.
Scrambled forward. It almost looked like it was going to break nicely for Liam Hudson. But in the end, into the arms of Radnic it goes. Fremantle now, I think, quite happy to just take this thing out of this one. I don't need any more Declan Hudson challenges on any of their players, so maybe just take a bit of time at the back, pop a few over the top, see if you can get a fourth, but really just try and close this one down. Skorich wants this one, had his arm in the air, he's going to get it, or at least he's going to have it hit in his direction. Big man goes up for it. The big man picks it up on the ground. Here's Hudson. Lofts that one up too close to Radnic, surely. And the man in blue gets both mitts on it. And once again, Fremantle just happy to slow things down, knock it around the back. Bingwa looking to get released in behind. The ball from Steele to central. So where do you think this game's been won and lost tonight for both sides, Josh? Is it that midfield battle, the extra sort of dynamism that Fremantle have there? The attacking strengths. How have you seen it?
I think it's been that quality in the creative midfield positions. You know, Charlie Chechlaz has played his role in the bulk of the goals tonight. Certainly the two very important ones in the first half, and he's just had the run of things in that part of the pitch. But Fremantle have also been aggressive, pressing whenever Balcatta have tried to play it out from the back. They haven't tried. They haven't wanted to let them spray those diagonals too easily or too quickly out to the wings. I think they've done really well to cut out what is a live threat from the Balcatta side.
Yeah, so a good performance all over the park from Freo. They'll just be focused now on keeping that clean sheet, I'm sure. Defenders and goalkeepers, and holding midfielders as well, love to get in the groove of not conceding goals. And just one stain on the sheet at the end of a game can just leave you going home shaking your head a little bit. So I'm sure they're going to be fully switched on for this final 7 minutes plus stoppage time.
It'll be interesting to see for Balcatta where they find that creativity when the season starts. The last couple of seasons they've had Japanese imports, Katara Yamamoto, Shogo Asao, who've sort of filled that role.
Chancellor Woodcock rumbling forward. No, he was on his heels there though, the 1-2 coming. Immediate apology for not reading from the same hymn sheet as his teammate there.
A few tired legs on a hot night as well, Sean.
Yeah. And another substitution this time. It'll be from the Balcatta side of things. Leon Giglia. Making his way onto the field.
plenty of industry from Ben Hinshelwood tonight, but not really the clear-cut chances that he would have liked.
For him.
You can see how dangerous and how much of a focal point he is going to be during the season. Over 10 goals in his last campaign and one of the top strikers over the last couple of years in the NPL Men's WA competition. But the service will need to improve over the next little while.
There's a good ball and a chance for a strike off the left there. Tomasoni rumbling forward, unable to keep it down.
And there's one player who has impressed is Aryan Yazalu, who played that ball in. He's been very composed since he came off the bench at half-time, the young man. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a bit more of a look in by the time the season starts.
Yeah. Yeah, but you mentioned Hinshelwood and his frustrated performance today. Didn't look like it was going to be that way early on. The first few attacking phases were all down to our left it was from Balcatta, and balls into the box that weren't quite there, but looked like he was going to receive plenty of service, and then it just completely dried up. Very few touches inside the Fremantle box, but they've got a few here. In the end, having to retreat out to Giglia, the substitute. Towed on by your man Yazalu. Certainly has added a bit of class to the Balcatta midfield since his arrival. And that's a decent ball into a decent area. But once again, Fremantle head on it. Ben Steele. Good performance from him tonight as well.
It's been a quiet achiever for Fremantle at the back tonight.
Yet competed well when he had to against Hinshelwood, and did his job on the ground and in the air. Be very worthy of this clean sheet if they can hang on. Final 5 minutes here at Frank Drugger Reserve Round 4 of the night series. NPL WA action. Balcatta 0, Fremantle City 3 for the moment. Hekwash looking to just create an outrageous pass. I think he saw the acres and acres of green grass in front of him and thought, bugger it, it's 88 minutes in. I'm just going to try and pull out pass of the season here. Very nearly did too. Absolute boomerang with the outside of the right peg.
You almost had your money on him to hit it as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Looking to place Sam Cook in behind for a potential second. His first, the flick / back heel that squeezed through the arms of Connor Campbell.
Oh, slightly shaky defending again at the end. It looked a bit nervy, but I think fair enough. The foul was given. Bingwa probably a little bit over exuberant in the clambering to get to the ball. But I think if he hadn't fouled him, he might have had a chance of getting there.
Theodorus had quite a rough night, clattered by his own goalkeeper.
Yep.
Just holding his shoulder a little bit gingerly there. He's had plenty of wear and tear put on his young body tonight.
A lovely ball over the top. Things just starting to open up now as Balcatta potentially draw the curtains. And there is a fourth, and it is much too easy. And it's Cook again. And that is a perfect example of a goal that you score at 3-0 up and the other team just decides to switch off. You still got to punish them, and they did just that, but not one that Balcatta players, staff or coaches would be happy to see.
Well, Sam Cook having a party, coaxer in the ice box. Fremantle City having a party there, 4-0 up in this one. Nick Santalucia making the overlapping run on the outside of a tired Balcatta defence. Cross across the face of goals, and Sam Cook with the simplest of finishes.
It doesn't get much easier. It was effectively a 3-on-0 as the Balcatta line had pushed so high up. Runners in behind. Nice ball over the top, but far, far too easy.
There's the throwback for you, Sean. The kickoff has gone forwards.
Love to see it. All over here at Frank Drugger Reserve, bar the shouting. Four-goal lead now. Fremantle potentially looking for a fifth. Still some tough tackles being thrown in, and the tough tackler himself is the man who's come off the worst for wear there, unfortunately. That will be the final whistle. Well, I hope the injured player on the far side well, but we will leave you for the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for joining us on this stream put on by Fremantle City and Balcatta Soccer Club. Supporting your local game. That's what we here at the Perth Football Podcast love to do. I've been Sean Fry. I've been joined by Josh Chide. I'll get his final thoughts on this one after I wrap up the scoring. It ended 4-0 for Fremantle City. Charlie Heckwatch with the opening goal, scuffed in through the outstretched gloves of Connor Campbell. The second one was a little bit more magical, finishing with a lovely little chip from Carl Moody. The fourth of three was far too easy for Sam Cook as he rumbled forward. He scored the third as well from a corner with a little flick on, and that's all she wrote here at Frank Drugger Reserves. Your final thoughts on this one, Josh, before we take it away?
A comprehensive performance from the Fremantle City Football Club. All too easy, that goal at the end, making it 4-0, but the damage was done in the first half. It was the twinkly toes of Charlie Chechlaz first with the squirmed finish to open the scoring, but then with a lovely ball in behind and a lofted chip from Carl Moody that effectively put the icing on the cake before half-time, making it 2-0. Balcatta were unable to...
You weren't saying that then. It's easy to make that call now.
Balcatta, yeah, well, it's great. It's always easier in hindsight, but hindsight is more likely to be correct.
Well, let's get out of your ear holes, listeners. Thank you again for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here. We hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day yesterday. We hope you enjoy the rest of this weekend and the rest of this budding football season. I've been Sean Fry. That's been Josh Chite. Good night.
Bye-bye.